So we're not going to get into all that stuff because we kind of touched on it last week, and you know how we feel about it. But let's get into our list because it's a tough list. I mean, Loren and I are still not 100% decided yet.
Before we start the list, can I ask all local politicians to call and email to complain now before you watch the show about what was said about you?
Yeah, so
it's probably better.
We always hear from angry politicians, and yet they don't see it firsthand. They just go on somebody else's description of the show and then complain to us. So watch it before you complain. And secondly, I know I'll get phone calls about whoever's the worst politician I did last year, blah, blah, blah. It's our job, Lauren. We have to deal with it.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right, can we get started? Here we go.
Yes.
Best and worst. First category, best move by a politician.
I'm going to go with Mayor Bertina. His best move was choosing to not run again, as it'll put him in a wonderful position to beat out Wayne Marsden and Hamilton East Stony Creek.
Okay. I'm going to give the best move by a politician to Mayor Fred Eisenberger for deciding when Bertina left the mayor's race to jump in. Didn't seem to have to do a lot to win because there was an open calling for a former mayor to run, and he took it, and it was a good political move, got his job back. So best move. Way to go, Fred. See, I don't only say negative things, Fred. I say good things.
It's early in the show.
Yeah. All right, next one. The worst move by a politician.
I have a tie for this one. So it's shared between two former councillors who brought very specific sensibilities that will be missed on council moving forward. And the worst move was choosing to run for mayor by both McCaddy and Clark.
Okay. I've got the worst move by a politician, Tim Hudak, saying that he was going to cut 100,000 jobs. Has there ever been a more singular move that has destroyed political aspirations and a party? That was pretty horrendous. So worst move by far this past year was by Tim Hudak, who comes from our area, so he's on the list. Okay. Biggest surprise of 2014, Loren, what was it for you?
Well, really early in the year, it was a huge surprise when McCaddy announced. But I think that got trumped by Bertina announcing not to run. That just didn't seem like something that was going to be expected. And it absolutely took me by surprise, so I'm going to give it to Bertina again.
So usually I get up at like 5 or 6 in the morning and I send out a bunch of tweets and do a bunch of media capture, and that's how I start my day in my business. One morning I decide to sleep in, and it happens to be the morning that Bob Bertina decides he's not going to run for mayor again. When I got up, I'm like, what happened? My phone went crazy. I had messages everywhere. And I chose to sleep in that morning. I would have to say that that was the biggest surprise from a political standpoint, because it changed everything. It changed the mayor's race. It changed the dynamic around the council chambers, and it may change the federal view depending on how successful he may be. Okay, we agree on that one. Best, worst 2014. What was the biggest surprise? Oh, sorry, we did the biggest surprise. My bad. The biggest news story.